Good morning, Year 9. Sorry to be really brutal and give you your assessment in your first lesson back, but I'm going to give you 3 hours to do this. We normally have 2 hours. Sometimes it goes into a third, doesn't it, when we do assessments? Um, but I think that we definitely, well, I'll give you the three for this. So we'll start today. So you should spend 1 hour on it today. You shouldn't spend any more on that. And then you've got 2 hours on Friday, which should be definitely sufficient to do a decent job of this. Okay, there's four sections. So remember, you've got your chosen poem, whichever one you want to focus on and revise and learn about. Um, the three sections are color coded, so I just use a simple traffic light system just to help you understand the relative difficulty of each section. First section is really, really easy. It's just answering in full sentences, please. All right, so not one word answers, please. Full sentences. And just answering these 5 questions. So, which historical conflict, which type of conflict is being explored through the poem? So, inner conflict versus outer conflicts. We talked about different social conflicts or conflicts with an individual versus another individual, etc. We did the first lesson on conflict was on that. So, what type of conflict or conflicts are being explored? From whose perspective is the poem written? 3 adjectives of your choosing to describe how the poet feels about the conflict, and 5 different techniques. Now, the 5 different techniques you don't have to analyze, just give me a quote and then tell me what technique it is, okay? So that should be really easy. Section B, it gets a little bit more complicated, asks for you for short paragraph responses. So an important line, most significant line in the poem, a significant technique that's used and why it stands out to you, and then an image. So this is more of the analysis stuff that we normally do. Section C, then, a bit more difficult again. Structural feature of the poem. We spent quite a bit of time this term looking at structural features, so you'll need to have a look at that. Explain why that particular structural feature has been used and why it's relevant. Again, answering in short paragraphs for this section. How you describe the mood or the atmosphere of the poem. Again, giving a quote and explaining why it's being used and how it's effective. If the mood or the tone changes in your particular poem, you might want to talk about a before and after for that question. That would be impressive. And finally, how might readers from the time of the conflict respond in a different way? They might not, but let's try and think about how the conflict has been changed and views regarding the conflict have changed over time. And finally, section D is the P paragraph section. All right, so I did tell you that you would be doing a full P paragraph. I want you to include at least 3 pieces of information, so 3 quotes or 3 pieces of evidence in there. And the question is very open, so you can answer it in any way that you like. But what can we learn about the conflict from reading the poem? Okay, so what do we learn? What's the take-home message? So a nice summative P paragraph just to show me that your broad understanding of the poem to finish with. Okay, if you've got any questions, of course, I'll be online. Feel free to drop me an email if you want to explain anything in any more detail. And all the best. Okay, so submission will be on Friday, but I'll explain all that later in the week. All right, good to see you all, and yep, all the best. And as I say, email me if you've got any questions. All right, thank you very much.